Dawn here with Blossom with the Stars, true to the actual stars, sidereal astrology. And holy wow, hold on to your seats, everyone. There is so much happening in the moon of July, from an incredible wealth boom opportunity for investments, the wave of the future when it comes to online crypto and Bitcoin. Stuff is happening there that I want to dive into because I know there's a lot of investors, a lot of people getting their feet wet with this stuff. So this is an incredible time for this. And at the same time, embedded in the golden lining of opportunity are some really big energy shifts. We have 3 planets that have gone retrograde, including Mercury. I think that happened yesterday. And what does it mean for a planet to go retrograde? What are some of the things you might be noticing? What are some things that are really good to be aware of? And what is the opportunity embedded within a retrograde planet? That's part of what I'm going to share today. And there's so much more. So go ahead, sit down if you want to take notes. That might be helpful. I'm going to start this call by sharing a calendar of events in July, just to give you a sense and a flavor of how many energy shifts are happening that just happened in the first half of July alone and will continue to sort of occur as we finish out the moon. So I'm going to share screen here with you. And if you want to share in the comments anything you've been noticing, it's a very interesting time. One of the key things I will say about when planets go retrograde, and when many planets go retrograde, is there can be almost a sense energetically of a slowdown where you've been moving forwards, going, 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 going. And what a retrograde asks us to do is to slow down, which can be a little bit of a shock to our system because we're going, going, going. And then it's almost like everything pauses and you're literally sensing and feeling the connection that we're having to that planet shifting into a different space. And so what is a retrograde planet? You know, most people ask me, Lotus, what does that even mean? And so the best analogy I can share with you is imagine that you're at a race and you are watching all the planets, they're lining up, they're getting ready for their race, and they start running. You can imagine those planets with legs running. It's kind of a fun image. And all of a sudden, let's say here's Earth and here's Mercury, which just went retrograde. And they're at the same speed. They're running along here. And when retrograde happens, Mercury starts like moving backwards, like moving away. It starts to slow down. So it's not moving backwards, but it starts to slow down. And because it's slowing down, when Earth turns to look back at it, it looks like Mercury's going backwards. But really, all that is happening with the retrograde planet is that that planet has slowed down in its relationship to the Earth's orbit. And so as that planet slows down in relationship to our orbit, that can feel like we slow down around the concepts and the ideas and the focus that that planet represents. And so 3 of the main planets that have gone retrograde, one is Mercury, which is the planet of communication. It's also the planet of travel, right? So Mercury is infamous for affecting our travel plans. Now, how do you get past retrograde? That's another thing I'm going to dive into on this call, because we are at cause. The planets have an energetic effect, but so do other people in our lives, right? And so the power that we must tune into at these times are, I'm at cause. I may notice some fluctuations. It's a bit like weather. So when a planet goes retrograde, it's a bit like maybe it rained that day. And so that doesn't mean you stop your whole life, but it may mean you prepare. It may mean you bring an umbrella. It may mean that you change your plans just a little bit to allow for that shift in weather. And so what retrograde planets really are like changes in the weather. And so today I'm going to give you the astrological weather report so that you can prepare accordingly. You can dress accordingly. You can plan accordingly for this energetic shift. So I'm going to share screen here and we're going to dive into what the moon of July, there's so many things occurring right now. And I wanted to give you the heads up. I've been just thinking so much about all of you going, golly, if they only knew what I knew, perhaps it would give them the heads up that they need to get through this time with greater ease. And so I'm going to share a screen with you. I'm just going to give you this calendar I created for you all for July. And to be honest, I was hesitant to share this until I kind of saw the lay of the land energetically, because I didn't want to trigger anyone. I didn't want to scare anyone about sort of some of the intensity that we're dealing with. But as I've been going along here, it's happening. So I might as well address it. Okay. So here we go. Here is the month of July. And so we started out the month of July. Whew, the July 4th celebration started out with one planet going retrograde, which is Neptune. Neptune is a really interesting planet. It's not something we necessarily think about very much in our day to day, but what it represents is our spiritual connection. It represents our connection to our dreams, our imagination, and our connection to God. And so when Neptune goes retrograde, which basically means it's slowing down in relationship to the Earth. So when we look back, it looks like it's going backwards. It's just slowed down in its orbit. And Neptune is a very slow-moving planet. So this will be several months of Neptune being retrograde. And let me just find the date here for you of when Neptune will go direct in 2025. That can be helpful for your calendars. Okay, so looks like, here we go. I'm just getting the dates here for you. Okay, so Uranus, Jupiter, Mercury, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune. Yeah, so Neptune will be retrograde until this, let's see here. Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, December 10th. Yeah, so Neptune retrograde July 4th through December 10th. It's a very slow-moving planet, and so when it goes retrograde, it's retrograde for a long time, and it's a slow, consistent effect. And so when a planet slows down, what it's asking us to do is also to slow down. It's asking us to basically do all of the RE words around that energy of that planet. And so reassess, reimagine, redo, recreate, renew, rejuvenate, reactivate. And please feel free to list in the comments if you can think of any other RE words, because to do again, essentially. When Neptune goes retrograde or any planet goes retrograde, it's asking us to, just as that planet appears to be going backward from the Earth's perspective, it's asking us to look back around the topic of the energy that that planet covers. So if Neptune is all about spirituality, it's all about meditation, it's all about connecting to a higher power. And so when Neptune goes retrograde, we're asked to look back at our dreams, our intentions, our spiritual connection to God, and see, is there any paperwork we need to complete? Are there any meditations we missed? Are there any retreats we didn't go to? So what is our backlog of connection to our spiritual side, right? Because we're so busy moving forwards most of the time that when a planet goes retrograde, it's really asking us to kind of go back and see what we didn't complete yet. Like what's still on the table for us to deal with, okay? And so Neptune means retrograde, reconnecting to our spiritual self. Is there any way that we're kind of are we kind of ignoring taking the time to meditate? And so when Neptune goes retrograde, we're going to be getting these hints, these signals like, hey, you need to slow down a little bit. You need to take a little more time to go within, all that kind of stuff. So we started with the retrogrades in July 4th. Then we had our big full moon. I did a big video for that. You guys felt it. It was powerful. Then on July 13th, which was about a week ago, Saturn went retrograde. And so this is big. And this is big for a number of reasons. So what is Saturn energy? Saturn is structure. Saturn is form. Saturn is the structure of our society. So it can represent the government, it can represent business, it can represent any organization that has a structure. And so when Saturn goes retrograde, it basically means that things within business, things within structure, things within government, there's stuff that needs to be done. Retrograde says there's stuff that needs to be taken care of, right? You know, how many of us have an attic or a basement, or we have a junk drawer that has stuff in it that we've just thrown in there because we're busy. We're so busy these days dealing with everything in our lives, going to work, going to school, connecting with our family, making time to have a little bit of fun, maybe go out to dinner, maybe go on a walk, that, you know, that junk drawer kind of sits there and we don't actually take the time to take care of it. And maybe there are piles of paperwork we haven't taken care of, or bills, or debts, or unresolved things. And so, what retrograde is really asking and really actually giving the opportunity for, right, is to take care of unfinished business. Right. And anyone, have you had the experience when you have taken the time, you have gone through the junk drawer, you have gone through your closet, you have cleaned up your car, and how good does it feel when you attend to that energy that you haven't been dealing with? And so when Saturn goes retrograde, Saturn represents structure, it represents the government, and on a more individual level, it can represent a part of the body. It represents the bone structure. It represents the teeth. It represents those hard structures in our body of the bones and the teeth. And so when Saturn goes retrograde, you can have issues with the teeth, with the bones. If you haven't, you know, taken care of something, you might want to go to the dentist. You might want to get a checkup. Of course, I highly advocate for a holistic dentist. And it just blew my mind because Saturn went retrograde on Sunday, the 13th. And then I had a dentist appointment after years on Wednesday, where I had the most incredible dentist experience of my life. But I'd been needing to do it. It was like a long time coming. Do you know what I mean? And so I was just in awe that I'm finally getting to the dentist after, you know, I don't know, I think it's been about 9 months or so. And and it's happening right as Saturn goes retrograde. And as an astrologer, this is what gets really cool is I can watch these patterns. This Saturn retrograde is occurring in my sixth house of health and healing. And what's amazing about that is that this dentist appointment turned out to be a rather big deal for my health, finding out information I really needed to know about my teeth that were affecting my health. And I was just kind of in awe that it was landing in my sixth house. So what does that mean for all of you? And why is astrology so powerful for when you have planets or things going on that are retrograde to find out where in your chart this might be affecting you, right? Because that's what I do all the time for myself as I say, okay, well, what's happening with the planets? Okay, how does that line up and affect my personal chart? And so what I'd like to show you today is how I take the current astrological, what's happening in the sky, and I apply it to people's one-on-one readings. And so that's why a lot of people come to see me or work with me, especially when I'm sharing information about, my gosh, we have this planet going retrograde and it's going to be stirring up and bringing up to the surface things related to our structure, things related to, it can be law, legalities, lawsuits, it can be related to debt, it can be related to karma. Where in my life, what area of my life is that going to be stirring up? So I can give you that information. And so what do I mean by that? What does that mean for when a planet is in a certain sign? How do I know what area of life it's going to affect for you? And so I'm just going to share screen and share with you what an astrology chart is actually showing us. And so here is a chart. You know, many of you have had your astrology chart. You know, it's a circle. Well, that circle is divided into 12 equal parts, and those 12 equal parts represent 12 areas of your life. Okay. So what are those 12 areas and how do we find out how those things might be affecting you? Okay. So here we go. Hi, everyone. Oh, thank you, Sabah. You shared some really great RE words. Okay, rebirth, refocus. Right, Carlo, I've been so busy, my desk is in disarray. Exactly, exactly. And I mean, raise your hand if you've been so busy, like everything has been like forgotten about, right? And these retrograde periods are when we're like, oh my God, I finally have time to clear off my desk. I finally like everything slowed down enough for me to attend to the basic things in my life that sometimes I neglect. So here we have a circle of what an astrology chart is like, those 12 slices in a chart, this is what they represent. And so the first house, if you have any of these retrograde planets affecting your first house, this is the house of self and identity. And so if you had Saturn there, you might be taking care of some disciplines around how you care for yourself, what you look like. You might be going and getting your hair taken care of or changing your wardrobe because it's the house of appearance. The second house is the house of worth and values and money and possessions. And so if you have Saturn retrograde here, oh my gosh, you might have some work to do around your money situation. You might have debt you need to pay back. You might have um, things you need to address and take care of. If you have Saturn in the third house, it might be affecting how you communicate because it's the house of communication. It's also the house of social networking. And so you might be taking care of some old things. Like maybe you've been broadcasting, but you haven't had a microphone. Or maybe you've been broadcasting, but you haven't had a light and you've just been kind of winging it. And so when Saturn goes retrograde in that house, suddenly you're like, okay, I need to finally go buy that microphone. I need to get my light system set up. I need to make it official. Saturn represents making things official, making things work, making things stick, right? Really actually attending to the mechanics, to the reality, to the physical truth, right? Saturn represents this 3D dimension. How does it work? Like if you throw something up, it will fall down, right? Uh, if you put a lot of time and energy and effort into something, you're probably going to get a reward, right? So Saturn is very much about cause and effect. It's the quintessential planet of karma. And so a lot of people get scared of Saturn. You know, we hear about having a Saturn return. And essentially what Saturn is here to teach us about is the reality of the physical plane, right? It's kind of this sense of like, okay, what you build will become the structure. You know, the foundation you place into something will be the how that thing becomes built. And it will determine whether that thing you build is successful and long lasting, or if you don't do a good enough job with the foundation, right, you might get a wonky building, you might get a wonky manifestation. And so Saturn is all about tending to the foundation. That can be the foundation of our families. If Saturn retrograde is in your house, the fourth house of home and family, it can be the structure of your hobbies, your passions, your interests. If Saturn is in the house of going retrograde, the house of creativity, children, passion. If you're a parent, you might find, oh my gosh, I have all these things I need to deal with my children. I need to buy that new car seat. I need to take them out to the zoo. I need to attend to this. I need to take care of this. I need to buy all their clothes for the next school year. So knowing what house that retrograde planet lands in during the time of its retrograde will give you a huge insight into how and in what ways this planet is affecting you. And so it makes it so much more personal. And I've been following this for myself for a very long time. And it's always so spot on. Always, 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 always. And so, what I want to share with you is that we not only have Saturn retrograde, we have Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and now Mercury. So, we actually have four planets that are retrograde, and we're leading up to a fourth retrograde planet at the end of July, which is Chiron. And you guys have all heard me talk about Chiron. And so, I want you to know that every year around this time, many planets go retrograde. This happens every single year. And it's interesting because it tends to coincide with getting ready for all the children to go back to school. And it's interesting because that tends to be a time where the children are like, oh, okay, I don't really want to go back to school. And there's all this stuff to get done and things to complete and things to finish, and things become more structured. And so this is something that happens every single year, right? And so it's not like it's out of the blue, right? It's something that occurs every single year. Don't worry, there's also some really magical stuff happening right now with the finances. And so I just want to pause from this retrograde update to give you some of the good news, okay? So are you guys ready for a little bit of exciting news? Right now, we have this lineup occurring between Venus, which is known as the billionaire planet. Not only is she the billionaire planet, but she is currently in the sign, the astrological sign of the billionaire, which is Taurus. What is Taurus about? Taurus is absolutely beautiful energy. Taurus is all about the earth. It's all about money. It's all about material possessions, material success. And so one of the great actually said this about astrology. He said, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. And so when you have the planet of the billionaire in the sign of the billionaire, things that become sort of activated at this time is a desire for beautiful things, because Taurus represents the material world. It's the second sign of the zodiacal wheel, and it represents our growth into the material realm. And people always say that we're not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. And so Taurus energy represents us evolving into the experience of physical life, which can include the enjoyment of all of our senses, from how it feels to have a wonderful massage, to the smell of a beautiful flower, to a beautiful painting. Taurus represents the enjoyment of all of our five senses. And right now, Venus, which is the planet that rules Taurus, every planet has a sign that it's connected to. And Taurus, the sign of physical material abundance, the sign of money, many Taurian people end up being bankers. And so Taurus and Venus, the planet that rule it, actually represent money, which is pretty phenomenal. And so not only do we have the billionaire planet in the sign of the billionaire, which is Taurus, but we also have it conjunct something I call Rigel. And what is Rigel? Rigel is the billionaire star. And why on earth do they call this the billionaire star? I mean, many of us haven't even ever heard this in astrology, that there's such a thing as a billionaire star. Well, I want to introduce you to Rigel, the billionaire star. And why this star is so important and so incredible is they actually did research, and they found out that Rigel is found in the charts of many, many billionaires. And it's not just found in the charts of billionaires, it's found where it's being activated by another planet. So you need two things to create basically the billionaire formula, as they found by doing research into the charts of many billionaires. They need Rigel, the billionaire star, and another planet. And so right now, Rigel, the billionaire star, and I think I'll just show you in the sky so we can check it out, is actually right up close to Venus, and getting closer, actually. This is, for those of you who are investors, those of you who have your foot in the door with some money stuff, you guys, this is a really potent time. It really is. And so what we have here is Venus, the billionaire planet, over here in the constellation of Taurus. And actually the moon is in the same constellation. The moon is conjunct the Pleiades today, right now, also close to Uranus, which is full of excitement and change. It's a very activating energy. and approaching Venus. And so today could be a very powerful day when it comes to finances, when it comes to investments, when it comes to wealth opportunities. And not only that, but then we look at how Venus is lining up perfectly to Rigel. Rigel, the billionaire star, it's located in the foot of Orion. To comment, if you've ever seen Orion's belt, then you'll know where Rigel is located. It's located right in the foot of Orion's belt. And I'm going to share a little bit more about Rigel, but look how bright that star is. I mean, I have actually invited and encouraged people who are in our wealth clearing, energy clearing membership to print out a picture of Rigel and put it somewhere. And if you go to my Facebook profile page, you'll see a big star as my background, and it's actually Rigel because Rigel is known as the billionaire star. It's been found in all of the charts or in many charts of billionaires. So let me share more about Rigel and why this energy is so, so exciting. I get excited every time I get to share about this. So here we have Rigel, the billionaire star, and it's so bright. It's so luminous. It's just incredible. And it's literally lining up today with Venus, the billionaire star, with the moon approaching, right? Moon can represent mood, emotion. And so people may be feeling this energy of abundance and wealth, okay? And so what is Rigel? So Rigel is calculated to be anywhere from 61,500 to 363,000 times as luminous as the sun and 18 to 24 times as massive, depending on the method and assumptions used. Its radius is more than 70 times that of the sun, and its surface temperature is 12,100 K, which is I'm not quite sure yet about calculating star temperatures, but let's just say that it's really big and really, really, really bright. So, huge star. It was found, you guys, and this is really exciting. Any of you familiar with Andrew Carnegie, right? He was a very famous billionaire at the turn of the century. He became famous for US Steel, and he actually was one of the few incredibly wealthy mega giants of our time who actually had a conscience and a heart which makes sense given his chart. And he took a lot of his wealth and he actually became the founder of all of the public library system in the United States, which I think is incredible because you can go to the library today, the public library, you can use a room to broadcast, to do a meeting, you can check out books. It's this incredible offering to the community that he created. And he is the man who actually, and I'm getting really hot as I tune into this energy. This is pretty amazing. I feel his blessing coming through. He had Venus, the billionaire planet, opposite his Rigel. Okay. So if there's an energy we want to be, what is Venus with Rigel? I would think of Andrew Carnegie. I would think of someone with immense capacity to create wealth, who then is able to share it, who also has generosity. And it makes sense, right? Because he has Venus with Rigel, which is the planet of love. It's the billionaire planet. It's an energy of truly caring, right? It's an energy of love itself, love and money. And so you can see it from his face. I mean, he's positively glowing. And so thank you, Andrew Carnegie, for joining us today to bless us with, the power and the potential of creating massive wealth. And why do we want to create this massive wealth? For many of us, it's so much more than the money. It's so much more than being rich and famous. It's more about what we can do with that money, right? Our vision. What draws us to have that money? The vision of creating something that serves not only ourselves, but it serves the world. It assists others. It nourishes other people. It creates something beautiful for all of us to take part in. And I think that Andrew Carnegie really deeply represents that energy. And so this is just amazing to get to share this with you all. Right. And so a mantra or an energy or a focus for all of you, I really want to invite you to tap into or tune into this with me. And there's a lot of us live on the call right now. So we can kind of powerfully activate this. And I would like to invite you to join me and just taking 68 seconds right here to tune into this mantra. And I don't know if you know this or not, but when we think of something for 68 seconds, it literally creates a frequency that then will continue to be broadcast out into the universe. It's not just you think it and it's gone. If you think something long enough for 68 seconds, you will literally be transmitting this nonstop out into infinitude. So I want to invite you all to join me to just tune into this beautiful mantra so that we can allow the blessings, the opportunities to come in, even as maybe we're allowing ourselves to slow down with these retrogrades and just be more with ourselves, deal with the things that need to be taken care of, and progress. So, 68 seconds, I am open to receiving floods of financial abundance, which allows me to give back more. I am open to receiving floods of financial abundance, which allows me to give back more. One more time. I am open to receiving floods of financial abundance, just more than I can even imagine, which allows me to give back more. I am open to receiving more and more so that I can give back more. And what a beautiful mantra, what a beautiful feeling, what a beautiful energetic to focus in on and co-create together, focusing on as I allow myself to open, as I allow myself to receive more, I can truly begin to give back more. Beautiful, beautiful energy. This is amazing. I'm so happy you're here joining me for this, tuning in to feeling open to receive all the gifts, the abundance that the earth and those that have walked before us, those that have come before us, those that have been the way seekers, the way showers to how to do this. You know, what does it take to become the pillar, to become the conduit for this wealth so that you can in turn become the gift to give back more to others. Beautiful, everyone. Absolutely beautiful. So another person who also has Rigel in her chart being activated by another planet is Oprah Winfrey. Of course, hers is being activated by Jupiter. Jupiter, the planet of higher learning, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, a little bit different from Venus energy. You can kind of see the difference just facially. Also, Ted Turner, the owner of CNN, he also has his Rigel activated by another planet. And John Paul Getty, the founder of Getty Oil, net worth $2 billion, he also had his Rigel activated by another planet. And, you know, Gloria Vanderbilt. And another person that I will share with you that, you know, love him or hate him, from an astrological perspective, he shows that he has earned a lot of money, is Donald Trump. Donald Trump, his son, is conjunct Rigel. And it's actually in the house, the 10th house, which is the house of the president. And so it's just wild as an astrologer to know that information. Whatever your views on him personally, from an astrological perspective, he has this activation of big money in his chart. So go figure, right? So if you're curious and you want to know where Rigel is being activated in your astrological chart right now, if you have any planets that are activating it in what area of your chart, so let's go back here to the charts and I can show you what area of your chart Rigel being in, what that might mean. Okay, and so many of you that I've worked with, I've done your astrology chart. You may be pulling out your charts going, oh my gosh, where is it? And so, yeah, I'm just going to share screen for a moment here. And be sure, you know, feel free to share in the comments if you're having any wins financially right now, if anything beautiful is happening for you. It's always really inspiring for other people to hear about. Or if you have any more questions for me, I'm happy to answer them as I'm here live with you all. This is so exciting. You know, I actually had a call scheduled this morning and it was actually for tomorrow. So I thought, you know what, why don't I just jump on here and bring you this information? So if you have Rigel in the first house, and so Rigel is in Taurus. So if you have Taurus in your first house, that means that wealth might be coming through for you via yourself, via how you look, via how you just tend to meet people or talk to people. There might be sort of this juicy, bubbly, beautiful energy when you first contact people where you're magnetizing and drawing in wealthy people. You're drawing in wealthy opportunities. You're just meeting them right at the beginning, right at the first house, right at the sense of self. You might be feeling really wealthy. You might be having a very wealthy aura. Now, if you have yeah, everybody has Rigel in their chart. It's just a question of where. So we have these 12 houses. Where do you have it, right? Do you have it in the first house of self and identity? Do you have it in the house of money? And just as a, little insider hint, Andrew Carnegie had his Venus, the billionaire planet, in the second house, which is the house of money, opposite Rigel. And so Rigel was activating it in the house of other people's money. And look what he did. He ended up doing a merger with a lot of other people, and that was part of what created the big money, right? So it's very interesting. The chart always shows it. This chart is so incredibly accurate. And so the question is, where do you have Rigel in your chart? Do you have it in the house of self? Do you have it in the house of money? Do you have it in the house of communication? And so if you have it in the house of communication, your luck, your fortune, your opportunity to connect to big money might be through social media. It might be through communication channels. It might be through talking to people or writing a book. If you have Rigel being activated in the house of the home, your money might come from your family. You might have family connections. You might get an inheritance, right? And so knowing which house the billionaire star is in your chart, and for each of us, it's different, right? So depending on the time of birth, that will change the sign that's on the outside edge of this wheel, which will change which house that Rigel lands in, right? And so some people have Rigel in their 10th house, which is the house of career, purpose, social status, reputation. And I just think this is wild that Donald Trump actually has his Rigel, his billionaire star, up in the 10th house of career, social status, and purpose. And whatever, love him or hate him, he's been done very well with money, which is just to me very interesting, right? As Rigel is the sign, it's in the sign of Taurus, which is the sign of the banker. It's in the sign of money. And so wherever you have this star is going to be where this potential for wealth and abundance is really being activated, right? And so if any of you know what house you have Rigel in, I've done your chart before, please feel free to, throw it down in the comments here, and I can give you a little bit of a mini reading about what that means for you personally, because I have this chart memorized, right? And so it's quite a few houses here. And so sometimes we can get a bit overwhelmed by, oh my gosh, there's so many things to remember here with astrology. But if you have Rigel in the seventh house, that means your wealth might be coming through your relationships. It might be coming through your partnerships. If you have Rigel in the eighth house, the house of transformation, the house of other people's money, you may be finding that you're receiving wealth from a loved one. This actually represents our partner's money house. And so you could be very well with receiving money from others. Yes, so Rigel is kind of hard to find as its symbol is not very clear, but I will tell you it's in Taurus. Um, yeah, it's let me take this off the screen. So what we can do here is we can look at the chart of today. Right, yeah, and sometimes we don't remember what house we have it in. So that's okay. I think, Odile, you're about to find out which house you have it in. And welcome to everyone watching, as I know this is very exciting. One of the cool things about what's happening right now is not only do we have the billionaire star with the billionaire planet lining up, not only do we have that, okay, we also have something very interesting occurring. You guys remember me talking about the destiny point, the collective destiny point, what the focus is for humanity. Well, that point has changed signs, okay? So not only do we have this huge wealth opportunity with the billionaire star and the billionaire planet coming together in the sign of material success, material expansion, we also have, and this is just phenomenal, we have, okay, let me get out the chart, a shift in the destiny point. And the destiny point represents the collective focus of all of humanity. All of humanity, okay? And that has changed signs. And so I'm just going to share the screen here with you. And it's very interesting today as I hopped on to do this live. Many of you are familiar with something called I call the midheaven, which is the top of the chart, right? It's the big star on the Christmas tree. And right now, today, at this very moment that we are on this call, the midheaven is conjunct Rigel, you guys, right now. And that's the purpose, that's the energetic focus is on wealth. It's on billionaire energy. And so the timing of us being on this call live together is incredible. I can feel the energy. I can feel the activation. I want to encourage you to tap into that Rigel energy a little bit more. And if there's an area of your life you're wanting to call in wealth, you're wanting to call in expansion, you're wanting to call in greater greater light, greater energy, I want to encourage you to do that, as this is literally happening right now for all of us on the planet. So great to see everyone here. Sabah, Carlos, Sarah. Goodness, what a fun gathering. I mean, it's exciting, right? It's very, very exciting. There's so much happening in the world with investments. And so why you might want to pursue crypto, why you might want to pursue Bitcoin. Let me show you astrologically and why this is a big deal for the whole rest of the year. Okay, so this right here, this right side up headphones, this is Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of the internet. Aquarius is the sign of technology. It's the sign of innovation. It's the sign of the online, all the big tech things, AI and robots and all that stuff. Aquarius is all about technology, but it's not about technology from a kind of emotionless place. It's about technology because Aquarius is about having a vision. It's about having a vision for humanity. And this destiny point changed signs from Pisces energy, which is all about intuition and spirituality, and it changed signs about a week ago. And so what this means is that the collective focus for humanity for the next year is essentially going to be on technology, on innovation, on the internet, on online cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And so if you've been doing this for 10 years and you're like, yeah, they said it was going to be a big boom, but I haven't seen anything, I've put in all this money, I hear you. I know a lot of people who are in that. But from an astrological perspective, having the destiny point going into Aquarius means that the focus, so many more people are going to get on the bandwagon. And that can be seen by the fact that banks are now beginning to link up with cryptocurrency so that in the future, you're going to be able to work with banking and cryptocurrency. And so this is going to be huge. And what's really interesting is that the planet that rules the destiny point is Uranus. And Uranus is the planet of the internet. It's the planet of change. It's the planet of the new age. And it's in Taurus, which is the sign of material wealth. It's the billionaire planet. It's the ruling sign for the billionaire planet. And today, Venus, Rigel, and the midheaven are all conjunct, my friends. Oh my gosh, this is so huge. This is so huge. Rigel just has RIG and a star. That's all it has. It's very small. And so wherever you have the placement of Rigel with your Venus today, this is going to be the area of your chart that is going to be activated. Okay, so let me see here. I think I had a comment come through I wanted to answer. Okay. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions about where this activation might be happening for you, if you remember what house you have Rigel and Venus in, feel free to share it in the comments and I can give you a little bit of information. The main point I want to make here, though, is that it's on. It is on, like Donkey Kong. Okay, so if you're wondering how the market is going to be, this is the golden lining moment. Okay, the next couple days, we're in this golden window. because all around us are retrograde planets, which are going to be slowdowns, which are going to be challenges, which are going to be ups and downs. Okay. So I'm predicting some big energy with crypto, with Bitcoin, with investments, with money in this window. It's like a golden window. Okay. But as we get past it, there's some challenging stuff that may affect the market for the next several months until these planets stop being retrograde. So I'm going to take you back to my calendar here so that you can get a better sense of what we're dealing with. And I don't want to give you bad news here. I'm just trying to let you know that this golden opportunity, it may have some ups and downs. And it may be really hot right now in this window, but then have some like ups and downs. And so if you're like, Lotus, you said it was going to be so good. Yes, right now, at this moment, in this peak energy with Venus, with Rigel, it's going to be amazing. How long will it last? I would give it the next 5 days or so. Okay, the next 5 days, we're kind of in a magical window. But we are also, and I just want to be real here because I don't want to get you super excited and have you go, well, what happened? Okay, so I want to be really real about the positive and the challenge. And so here's some of the challenges that we're facing in terms of what might affect our investments, what might affect the market. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share screen. And share any, questions you might be having about this, how this might be affecting your chart personally. Okay, so here we have the July calendar, right? So I started off this call by saying, okay, we have Neptune went retrograde July 4th. We had the full moon. You guys felt that. We had Saturn go retrograde, right? And then we had something else happen, you guys. And this is happening at the same time. We have this incredible wealth activation, Sun opposite Pluto, right? Pluto went retrograde a little bit back there. So we have Pluto retrograde, we have Neptune retrograde, we have Saturn retrograde, we have Mercury retrograde. All of that happening right now at the same time that we have Venus, the billionaire planet, conjunct Rigel, the billionaire star. Okay, so I want to be very clear here that while this is so incredible and awesome and such an amazing monetary moment, there can be some challenges here. And so what might those challenges look like? Okay, July 16th, the sun went into Cancer. July 13th, Pluto went opposite the sun. And yesterday, Mercury went retrograde. Plus, we have the huge wealth activation. So let me just riff off of this for a minute. What does this all mean? Okay, this is big, you guys. The sun just went into Cancer. It just went into the sign of emotion, the sign of the home, the mother, our DNA, our ancestry. It's a water sign. It's like we're swimming right now because we're going to feel things more deeply, right? So what is Cancer? What is Cancer energy anyways? Okay, let's just tune into that for a moment. Sun and Cancer. I want to share with you with kind of a focus that's happening for humanity, along with the wealth activation, is a lot of emotion being brought up. And right now, she is opposite Pluto, which is the sign of transformation. It's the sign of intensity. It's the sign of secrets being brought to the light. And so I just have to give you a heads up that in addition to this beautiful wealth activation, there could be some very deep things, secrets, hidden things, things you haven't been aware of that are being brought up to the surface, okay? So to really understand this, what is Cancer energy all about? Because when the sun goes into Cancer, a lot of us have no idea, what does that really mean, Lotus? So what is Cancer energy? Cancer energy is the sign of mom, okay? It's all about the home. It's all about nurturing. It's ruled by the moon. It's a deeply emotional sign. It's all about our feelings. It's all about our memories of the past and our heritage. It's our connection to our home, okay? It's related to the mom, the home, the family. It's the sense of, that connection, that commitment we have to our home and our family. So you might be thinking about your house a lot right now. You might think a lot about your emotions and how you're feeling, right? An emotion is only an emotion. It's just a small part of your whole being. You are much more than your emotion. An emotion comes, stays for a while, and goes away just like a storm. If you're aware of that, you won't be afraid of your emotions. And so this is really important time to be conscious of your emotions, conscious of what you're feeling, and allow yourself to have those feelings, but also allow them to pass through you. Okay. And so why is this so important? Is that the sun is directly opposite Pluto. Pluto is the sign of transformation, and Pluto is in the exact same degree as it was at the signing of the US Constitution. And so, why am I bringing all this up? Why is this so important? Because crypto, because money, because investments are deeply influenced and impacted by the state of the government and what's happening with those in power. And so at the same time, we have this incredible luck coming through. We also have Sun opposite Pluto, Pluto also being retrograde, Pluto dealing with the past, Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, which is the sign of government. It's the sign of structure. It's the sign of business. And so when the sun is directly opposite Pluto, guess what? We're going to have a lot of light come through and illuminate something that has been hidden. So there could be some bombshells. There could be some like truth moments coming up for us related to the government, because Pluto is the government, Capricorn is government, Pluto is secrets coming to the light. Opposite the sun, which is illumination. In the sign of family could relate to family of those in power in the government. And so there's going to be a lot of truth coming through on a governmental level around those in power that could stir up the market. It also could be bringing up to the surface emotions, feelings, memories within us. And so I want to turn to you guys now. I want to go to the floor here and just ask you guys, are there any questions, right? From everything that I've shared today, is there anything that you want more information on? Is there anything that you're like, wow, Lotus, I would really love to know more about that? Please let me know, as I do these lives for you guys. So if there's any questions I can answer, I'm more than happy to do so. But I wanted to jump on here because we are really dealing with a really interesting amount of different energies right now, from having Venus, the billionaire planet, activated by Rigel, the billionaire star, to having about 4 planets currently retrograde. Okay, so let's tune in here to what all is going on. Okay, like what are the many different levels here? So we have Venus, the billionaire planet, conjunct Rigel, the billionaire star. I'm not sure if I have, Sabah, I'm not sure if I have your chart. Let me see here. I might. Yeah, you want to know where your Rigel is, right? And so I will be offering, since you're on this call, Sabah, I will potentially, I don't think I have your chart anymore. So I will be offering a discounted rate. You can direct message me if you want to find out more about your Rigel Venus activation that's happening right now. So just send me a message. We can set up a time and I can give you all the 411 about your chart and what's happening in it. I'm happy to do that because I know this is very exciting. I don't have your chart anymore, Sabah. Otherwise, I'd just pull it up. Let me see. Maybe I do. Look again. Sabah. I don't think I do. Okay. So, and I don't have your chart. I don't keep my charts energetically, because our astrology charts are literally the blueprint of our soul, all of our karma, where we have been and where we're headed. And so every person's astrology chart is incredibly powerful. And so I basically keep the charts of the people that I'm working with currently. And then I just let your guys' charts, you guys have them, because I don't want to be carrying around so much energy. But I am offering a discounted rate if you want to meet with me and find out about your chart. Let's see here. And it's exciting because this is maybe one of the most powerful aspects I've literally ever seen. Not only that, which is wild, is that this Venus conjunct Rigel is activating President Trump's sun in his 10th house of the presidency And so if you see him doing some really interesting things with money in the next several days, you'll be seeing Rigel conjunct Venus, conjunct his sun in action, which I find mind-blowing as an astrologer. Whatever your feelings are about him as a person, I'm not going to go there because, love him or hate him, I'm not going to go there. But as an astrologer, it's very interesting to look at the charts of people and to see what's being activated by, especially people in positions where you hear about them all the time, you see them online, and you go, "Oh my gosh!" Right? Let's see. Does anyone else want to see their chart? I might have your chart. Let's see. Right. But I can tell you that today, for pretty much everyone in the United States, the midheaven is in the sign of Taurus, which is in the sign of Rigel. And so we can just riff off of today's chart a little bit here. So here we have the top of the chart. This is today. The midheaven is what I call the purpose point in an astrology chart. It's all about who we are and where we're going and what our life is focused on. And it's exactly, literally by 10 seconds, conjunct Rigel and Venus exactly at the same time today. And it's also, we've got Moon conjuncting Uranus. And why is this important? Okay, Uranus is the internet. Uranus is technology. Uranus is innovations in technology. And so to have Uranus very close to the moon, which is the mood, means that a lot of people are going to be getting interested in investing today. They're just going to emotionally be drawn to it. It's like an electric light is going to go on, like, I'm going to invest in that. And you're going to see the market probably do really interesting things today, I would imagine, from what I'm seeing with the astrology chart. Not only that, but we have the billionaire planet conjunct the billionaire star. And it's just a lot of energy. It's really a beautiful energy. Venus is beyond being money in the billionaire star. She's also related to women. And so one thing I might predict with seeing Venus being activated by Rigel is that a lot of women out there might be thinking about investing. They might be putting some money into some online cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. And so you might see a lot of women becoming, receiving some wealth from this time. This can also relate to if you're a business owner as a woman and you're putting yourself out there more online, you might be getting a lot more results. Okay. Now, as much as we have this beautiful, loving, you know what? Let's tune into Taurus energy because we have Venus, the billionaire planet, we have Rigel, the billionaire star, and the midheaven, Uranus, and the moon, and the sun-moon midpoint, all in Taurus today. So let's tune into what Taurian energy is all about because I just think that will really help sink in having this Venus activation with the billionaire planet. You might be feeling, you might be sensing it. And it's a really beautiful energy. It's all about beauty. It's all about the appreciation of our five senses, beautiful clothes, beautiful objects, beautiful experiences. Okay. And so I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just share screen in a moment. Okay, great. We're going to tune into the energy of Venus, the billionaire planet. What does that mean? What does it mean to have this billionaire planet conjunct the billionaire star? Okay. And so Venus is the goddess of money. She's the goddess of beauty, right? She's all about money and fortune. She's an earth sign ruled by the planet Venus. It's the planet that represents desire and beauty. And so Taurian plants always have gorgeous flowers and enticing fragrances. Taurus rules the throat and the ears. And so this is a time where we might be called to sing. We might be called to speak our truth. The best plants for the bowl are often soothing to the throat, like licorice and fenugreek. And Taurus and Venus energy, it's all about the earth. It's all about enjoying the good things of life, right? Beautiful clothes, beautiful jewelry, beautiful flowers, the beauty of life, right? And one of the stones, some of the stones that are really deeply associated with Taurian energy, with this Rigel Venus energy, are copper, malachite, and emeralds, right? And what is Taurus energy? What is Venus energy? It's all about beauty. It's all about the beauty of nature, the beauty of the earth, right? And so this is a really good time to get out there into nature. It's a good time to focus on what you're grateful for, to focus on abundance, to focus on what brings you joy, right? And it's just this lush, abundant, fertile energy, right? You can think of delicious chocolate cake. Here's a piece of cake I made for my birthday a couple years back. These beautiful flowers. I picked these flowers for my birthday out in nature. And so one of the flower essences that can help with Taurus energy, it says Taurus energy tends to be responsible to a fault. And so oak is actually really perfect to help us when you're just being that superhero who does everything. This can kind of help ground that energy, and it might be very supportive today with this Venus Rigel aspect. It's, Taurus energy is all about the enjoyment of our senses, delicious massage, all these kinds of things. Okay. So I hope this has been helpful today. I hope that I've been able to answer some questions. If you have any other questions, please put them in the chat right now so I can answer them before I finish up for today. And the question I have for you is from all that I shared about Venus being conjunct Rigel, the billionaire star, to the planets being retrograde, do you have more questions? And in what areas do you have more questions so I can answer them? Okay, so I'm going to have to do another live because there's so much happening with these retrograde planets and, kind of give you an overall recap of what's going on. We have Saturn retrograde, the planet of structure, the planet of business. It's in the sign of spirituality, Pisces. So learning to have more discipline with our internal worlds, having more discipline and control with our meditation practices. Then we have Pluto, the planet of depth, intensity, and transformation, retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, which is government and structure. So we have both Saturn retrograde and Pluto retrograde in the sign of Saturn because Saturn rules Capricorn. And so what that can mean is that things related to structure like teeth and the bones of the body, the government and business, we might see a little bit of a slowdown, and things that haven't been addressed or dealt with are going to need to be taken care of. And there could also be a huge amount of truth or secrets that are brought up to the light as Pluto, which is retrograde, which deals with the past. Pluto is the underground. Pluto is secrets. In the sign of government, Capricorn, which is business and government and people and authority, in the same sign that it was at the signing of the United States Constitution in 1776, means there's a lot of light from the sun shining on the secrets of our government, of the structures of business, of people and authority. And so for the next week or so, this may be a time out in the world where we see a lot of information that's been hidden or suppressed about people in power, people in authority being brought up to the light. And this could be things that are, the hidden things like scandals. Pluto can represent death. It can represent sex, intensity. It's known to be like a volcano, like very volcanic. And so there could be a sense of a lot of pressure that's been buried very deep in our society, in our government, and even, yes, individually in ourselves, that the light of the sun is shining on. Yes, Odile says, I can't wait for the truth bombs to drop. Yeah, I feel them. I feel them. And you might be feeling them too. And one of the things that you might feel is a lot of intensity because as within, so without. And so I want to invite you to recognize that if there's truth bombs coming out in the world, we're more than likely going to have our own awarenesses come up to the surface. And these awarenesses are not meant to hurt us. They're meant to assist us in growing, to becoming more, to becoming better, to becoming more of who we are and who we are here to be. And so I often say when we have these intense aspects happening astrologically, what does it take to create a diamond? It creates pressure. What does it take to make lemonade? More pressure. What does it take to pull the bowstring back of your arrow? Let's say you have a target you're trying to reach. What does it take to get that arrow to fly to your target? You got to pull it back. You got to pressurize that string. And then when you let it go, it's going to go really far. And so if there is stress, if there is tension, if there is pressure in your life, I want to invite you, and if you're feeling it out in the world and in other people, I want to invite you to tune into the golden lining, which is that all of this stuff is happening for us, not to us. All of this stuff is happening for our highest and best good. And we got pretty blessed because we also have this incredible Venus conjunct Rigel activation, the billionaire planet and the billionaire star. And so, just like life, there are challenges and there are opportunities. And sometimes we have both challenges and opportunities at the same time. And so it's kind of exciting. We kind of have a free for all happening right now. So I would choose to focus on what you want. I would choose to focus on the power of transformation to bring you all of the gifts that you're seeking, to allow the activating energy to allow you to expand into your highest potential. And I'm super excited. One of the things that I've been noticing with these aspects is if you have buried resources, if you have buried gifts, talents, abilities, things that you're really good at that maybe you haven't been doing for a while, this is the time where your awareness of these things may start to come back. Like, oh my gosh, I've really missed doing yoga. I need to do more of that. Or, oh my gosh, I really have missed painting. I need to paint more. And so I want to invite you to see the time when we have so many planets retrograde. We have Pluto, Saturn, Mercury, and Neptune all retrograde. That's 4 planets appearing to go backwards. Simply, they have slowed down in their orbit, causing the energy on the earth to kind of slow down. And so if you're like, oh my God, why isn't it things happening at the same fast pace? It's because of those planets going retrograde. And so really it becomes an opportunity and an invitation for us to slow down a little bit, to attend to things from the past we haven't taken care of yet, to attend to them, to care for them, and then put that energy into planning for the future. So this is a very exciting time. So much is happening on so many different dimensions here. If you want to know where these activations are happening in your chart, for instance, where is Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, and Mercury retrograde in your chart, please reach out to me. I am going to be offering discounted sessions. So if you want to jump on a call with me and find out where all of these activations are in your chart and kind of get an update on your own chart, your own life, what areas of life are being impacted, send me a direct message and I can send you a discounted link so that we can set up a session. I can give you this information. It's a very exciting time. We've already gotten so many people here on this live call today. So glad you could join us. You know, if you're out there, you're feeling this stuff. You're wondering what's happening, right? We're all one. We're all part of this collective energy. And so I really felt called to get on here and give you this information. And I just want you to know whatever you're dealing with, whatever awarenesses are coming up that you're learning about, please remember and know all of this is working for your highest and best good. And whenever many planets go retrograde, you might notice it, you might feel it, you might sense a shift in the energy frequency. And all this is doing is saying, slow down a little bit, take your time, smell the flowers, get back into your body, get back into yourself, get back into your center, and know that this happens every single year around the same time. And it's a time for us to get ready for the winter, right? It's coming, right? According to the Celtic calendar, the beginning of summer was actually May 8th, and the end of summer is August. And so we are ending the summer months in August, which means that we're heading into the autumn, which means it's time to start thinking about, okay, this next leg of the journey. And so that's why we get all these retrograde planets at this time of the year every year, so that we give ourselves the time to slow down, to take stock, to tune into where we're at, to tune into where we were, and to tune into where we want to go next. Do we need to do anything before the autumn, winter months? Do we need to finish anything? Do we need to resolve anything? What do we need to confront? What do we need to transform? And what do we need to create now? It's a shift. Shift in the energy, shift in the vibe. Enjoy those hot couple weeks of summer that are left. I know in California we have Indian summer, so it gets a little bit confusing in terms of the change of the seasons. But just know the energetic of the sun has hit its high point. It hits its high point at the solstice every year in the Northern Hemisphere, and now it's moving away. It's moving slowly away, and that we feel that energetic shift. So if you've been wondering what's been going on, that's what has been happening. So I send you all so much love. Please share in the comments if you have any further questions about anything from this live so that I can answer them for you. And I am going to be having to do more lives because there's so much to talk about. It's hard to get it all in one sitting. So I just send you all massive love and light. I know, Sabah, you're way across on the other side of the world from here. And so it's been such a pleasure to spend some time with you. And I just want to send everyone love and light and blessings, and the reminder today, especially, and all the days to come, to really focus on what you're grateful for, what you have in your life already that is abundant, what is in your life that allows you to feel rich, that allows you to feel wealthy, that allows you to really enjoy this life. And I want to take 68 seconds and just focus on feeling wealthy, on feeling abundant, focus on feeling prosperous, focus on feeling as though you are just radiating the pure light of fertility, of abundance, of all of life working out for your highest and best good, all the things you ask for coming in, all of the gifts you're waiting for arriving. I'm just going to ask God to please give you all as many spiritual gifts as you need to step into your next level, to step into your next dimension, that you have all of the tools, the techniques, the people, places, and things you need to step into your greatness, to step into your abundance, and just feeling that 68 seconds of pure love and light. We share this across the planet. And as we share this across the planet, feeling that energy and that light expanding through us, almost like you could reach out your hands and we could touch hands across the world, across the interweb, and just call in pure love, pure light, pure joy, pure abundance, pure prosperity and wealth. And I send golden light blessings to all of your intentions, to all of your visions, to all of your investments. May they prosper. May they grow. May the light of the billionaire star bless everything that you're working on. And may all of your dreams truly come true. Sending you so much love from my heart. Truly, truly, truly so grateful for all of you. Biggest love, biggest light. Aloha.
The ocean's crest, moonlight dancing on my chest. The night is vast, yet I am small, a shadow waiting for its call. The wind hums secrets I can't name. It pulls me closer to the flame. Blossom with the stars tonight. Let them guide me through the fight. Unleash the wealth, the fame, the glow. Show me the me I need to know. I hear the harp of ancient skies. Its strings unravel all my lies. It knows my tune. I'm blooming brighter than the moon. Each step I take, the ground takes note.